No one noticed the boy in the last row. Not the teachers, not the students, not even the world outside the classroom window. He spoke so little that some people thought he couldn't. When groups were formed, he was the last name anyone remembered. When opportunities came, they passed right by him. To everyone else, he was invisible. But here's the strange thing about invisible people. When they finally rise, the whole world suddenly asks, where did he come from? This is the story of the boy everyone ignored, until ignoring him became impossible. His name was Armand, a quiet kid from a small neighborhood where dreams rarely grew bigger than the streets themselves. Armand wasn't loud. He didn't crack jokes in class. He didn't fight for attention. While other kids played football after school, Armand usually sat alone on the edge of the field, watching. Not because he didn't want to join, but because no one ever asked. At school, he was just that quiet boy. Teachers often skipped over him. Classmates rarely spoke to him. Even during presentations when everyone shared their ideas, Armand would stand up, speak softly, and sit down before anyone truly listened. And slowly, he began to believe something dangerous. Maybe he didn't matter. Every day felt the same. Wake up, go to school, sit quietly, come home unnoticed. But the hardest part wasn't the silence. It was the feeling of being invisible. Imagine raising your hand and the teacher calling someone else. Imagine sharing an idea and no one even responding. Imagine walking into a room and nobody realizing you arrived. That was Armand's life. And over time, those little moments started to build something heavy inside him. Doubt. The kind of doubt that whispers, you're not important, you're not talented, you're just ordinary. There were nights he sat at his desk staring at a blank notebook, not because he had nothing to say, but because he didn't believe anyone would care. Most people would have accepted that life. Most people would have slowly faded into the background forever. But Armand had one small habit that no one knew about. Every night, he kept trying. While the world ignored him, Armand was quietly building something. Late at night when the house was silent, he studied, he watched videos, he practiced skills no one asked him to learn. Sometimes he failed so badly it felt embarrassing, even though no one was watching. But he kept going, day after day, week after week, month after month. Not for attention, not for applause, just because deep inside, he refused to believe his story was meant to stay small. There were nights when exhaustion almost won, when the voice in his head said, why bother? Nobody cares. But another voice, smaller, quieter, answered back, maybe one day they will. So he kept working, quietly, relentlessly, like a seed growing underground where nobody could see.
Then one day, something unexpected happened. A school competition was announced. Students could present a project, anything creative. Most students treated it casually. Some didn't even sign up, but Armand did. For weeks, he worked in silence. While others played games, he stayed after school refining his idea, testing, failing, fixing, trying again. When the presentation day arrived, the room buzzed with confident voices. Students joked, laughed, showed flashy slides. And then, Armand's name was called. A few students barely looked up, the quiet boy again. No one expected much. But when Armand began speaking, something changed. His voice was calm but strong. His project was brilliant, not flashy, not loud, just undeniably good. For the first time, people actually listened. Teachers leaned forward, students stopped whispering, and when he finished, the room was silent. Not because they were bored, but because they were surprised. The invisible boy had just done something impossible. Armand didn't suddenly become loud. He didn't change his personality overnight, but something inside him shifted. Confidence. Not the kind that screams for attention, the kind that comes from knowing you've done the work. He kept building, kept learning, kept improving, and slowly, the same people who once ignored him began noticing something different. His ideas, his discipline, his results. The boy no one remembered was now the one people asked for help, the one teachers praised, the one classmates suddenly respected. But the most powerful part? Armand didn't do it for them. He did it for himself. Here's what most people don't understand. Being ignored can feel like the worst thing in the world, but sometimes it's actually a hidden advantage, because when no one is watching, you're free to grow, free to experiment, free to fail, free to become stronger without pressure. While others chase attention, you can chase mastery. And mastery is quiet at first, but when it finally appears, it's impossible to ignore. The world doesn't reward the loudest voices. It rewards the people who kept going long after everyone else stopped paying attention. So if you feel invisible right now, remember this: the strongest stories often begin in silence. Years later, when people talk about Armin's success, they say things like, "He came out of nowhere. He got lucky. He was always talented." But Armin knows the truth. He didn't come out of nowhere. He came from years of being ignored, years of quiet effort, years of working when nobody believed in him. And the boy who once sat alone at the edge of the field became someone the world could no longer overlook. Because eventually, hard work becomes louder than opinions, and persistence becomes stronger than doubt. The invisible boy became unstoppable. If this story inspired you, remember this message the next time you feel overlooked. Your silence today can become your strength tomorrow. Keep building, keep learning, keep going, even when nobody notices, because one day they will. And when that day comes, the world won't ask why you succeeded. They'll ask how they ever missed you. If you believe in stories that ignite something inside you, make sure you subscribe and join this journey, because the next story might be the one that changes your life.